It's Monday night, and you know what that means. The Jersey First Television Network proudly brings to you the latest edition of Real Talk. And yes, I am the generational talent in Garden State Media and the hero you need right now, folks. That's right. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy Monday to all of you. As you can see, we're still rocking that pink because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, of course, if you're not thinking pink as well, try it. You'll like it as well, folks. And then don't forget to, of course, like, comment, share tonight's episode on all of your social media platforms. It helps get the show out to more people. It really helps with the algorithm. Trust me, I've done the research on this. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in from wherever and however you may be doing so. Again, live here on Jersey First TV. Of course, folks, I can't say enough how grateful I am to all of you that continue to support Real Talk every single Monday night here on the Jersey First Television Network. Again, don't forget to make sure you like us on Facebook. Of course, follow us on Instagram and X. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the little bell right there, and you'll be automatically notified of all the great content brought to you by Jersey First TV. And of course, whether you get your podcast on Spotify or SoundCloud, download Jersey First. And again, listen to our content, whether you're doing food shopping, whether you're walking your dog, maybe going for a run, even though it's getting a little darker now sooner, folks. Again, it is mid to late October. Daylight savings time is just a couple weeks away. And certainly, of course, but you're always on your phone for some reason, right? You're banking, you're on Hinge, you're on, Bumble, you're doing your banking, whatever it is, folks, you're always on your phone for something. Choose Jersey First, and trust me, you'll never be disappointed. And I can't say enough, folks, proud to be front and center here, representing Jersey First TV, of course, always educating and advocating for the residents of the great state of New Jersey. Folks, nobody does it better than the leader in independent media here in the Garden State. It's always Jersey First TV. Folks, we have a jam-packed final thoughts tonight. And I got to tell you, I got a little pet peeve with some people here, starting with North Bergen Commissioner Anthony Veneri, who not exactly the best of humans, in my opinion, but really I think it's about, there are those of us that talk about doing good in the community, and then there are those of us that actually do good in the community. And that's what I do every single year for the American Cancer Society. And again, I want to thank everybody who came out last Wednesday night to the world-famous Waterside in North Bergen for a professor's quest to save breast. Almost $4,000 raised last week, and also with some online donations, having done the breast cancer walk yesterday at the Prudential Center. And again, I appreciate everyone certainly donating to the cause. And folks, more importantly, again, I can't say enough about my team that does an incredible job every year for a professor's quest to save breast. As you can see them there, Ezekiel Gonzalez, along with Alexandra Hammer, Sylvia Sapinska, Jacqueline Rodriguez, and of course, Vladimir Carrero, folks, the dream team, making a difference every October during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'll tell you why that's important and why Anthony Veneri isn't. And also, folks, during final thoughts, I'll give you a little bit of perspective. Some of the local Democratic socialists in Jersey City who thinks that being a child is somehow a flex. Well, I'll tell you why that isn't. And of course, it's just another reminder why progressives continue to be absolutely insufferable in New Jersey. More on that later during final thoughts, for sure, folks. And of course, speaking about insufferable, yes, we all saw it this past weekend. I made a point to attend one of the No Kings rallies up here in Hudson County and Weehawken. And folks, this collection of children never ceases to amaze me. And let's be honest, when all the protests were over, a lot of the cat ladies just had to just go home to their cats. More on that during final thoughts. And also a special comment where I can be gracious, and I'm not gracious too often, but I do want to give a thanks to Insider NJ and specifically Marilyn Rivera for their compilation of the honorees of the Bridges of Impact, the celebration of Latino leaders. And as you can see there, yours truly, the generational talent, was included on this list. So a special comment and a thank you to Insider NJ and Marilyn Rivera later on in the broadcast. Folks, again, like, comment, and share tonight's episode here. And folks, we're always talking politics, but as a small business owner here, again, with Fernando Uribe Media, my LLC, it's always important to talk about the business climate in New Jersey. Millions of dollars, obviously, are coming and going with incredible revenue streams, and tens of thousands of small businesses really are making a difference every day, especially in the Hispanic community. And who better to talk about it with than the president and the CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He's a fellow Cubano ahí and a really, really great human being, a hard worker, and a guy who's been a regular on this show. I want to thank him for that. He's my good friend, Carlos Medina, joins us live right now on Real Talk. Carlos, how are you?
Hola, how are you, Fernando?
Good evening there. And folks, again,
Congrats on a good Cowboy win yesterday.
hey, listen, we need those because our defense is atrocious, but our offense is pretty good.
I told you earlier I'm a Giant fan, so what a freaking game.
Well, we'll touch on a little Sunday Fun Day a little bit later in the show, but definitely a very hotly contested NFC East for sure. Folks, if you haven't done so already, do me a favor. Please make sure that you visit the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce by going to www.shccnj.org for events, for resources. If you're a small business owner here, an Hispanic business owner here in New Jersey, nobody does it better in giving you guidance and some of the best advice about how to move forward with your small business here in New Jersey than my guest, Carlos Medina, and also the executive director, Luis de la Hoz, with the chamber, and of course, all the great people at the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So, Carlos, good to see you, man. How's the fall season treating you?
It's been well, busy. It's always a busy time. I've done a lot of fireside chats for Hispanic Heritage Month. I like the chats better than like just talking to people like a keynote. So I've been doing the fireside chat. I enjoy that. So I have one actually tomorrow's the last one. They snuck it in. It's technically not Hispanic Heritage Month anymore, but they snuck it in.
Very nice. And again, shout out to you. Obviously mentioned on this list here, a celebration of Latino leaders. I'm privileged to be in really good company with someone like yourself, and congrats to you, man. Obviously a very, very nice list. A very nice list. I mean, some people on the list, I don't know, like your sister-in-law, I don't know. You'll take the high road. I don't have to. Some dubious people on this list, like your sister-in-law, David Cruz, some others, but that's later on in the show during a special comment. But again, congrats to you, man. You do great stuff in the community with the chamber. But for my audience tonight, Carlos, that maybe isn't familiar with the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, tell us a little bit about your involvement right from the onset and the evolution of this great organization, because you're really helping tens of thousands of Hispanic-owned small businesses, which, let's be honest, whether it's the World Cup coming next year, whether it's all of the hospitality and nightlife that we see in New Jersey, Hispanic-owned businesses continue to thrive in New Jersey.
Yeah, I would say they're the engine or the fuel that's driving the New Jersey economy. Back in 2008, 2009, when we had the last Great Recession, Main Street businesses were declining and Hispanic businesses were growing. And some people argue it was those small Hispanic businesses that were growing that saved the United States economy. So when we get a negative rap as being somehow a drag on the economy, it's so frustrating. Our GDP, gross domestic product in New Jersey, for Hispanics is $127 billion a year. So it's an amazing number. I love working at the chamber. I got very involved it's been like 15 years now that I was involved. I was a volunteer for the first 10 because when I took over, we were 300,000 in debt. So it was very complicated to roll up our sleeves and get us back, but we're strong. We're doing good things. We're helping the economy, and we're just providing a lot of training and support for our members. It's a very tricky time. COVID was very tricky.
Sure, yeah.
We're just a lifeline. I say we're the priest, rabbi, counselor for all of our members, because a lot of them just don't have people that are, have been in business for 3 generations in New Jersey. They just don't know where to turn to.
Yeah, and listen, again, the chamber does an incredible job in providing resources and, to your point, guidance, because it's not easy. Again, not everyone's cut out for 9 to 5. There are so many entrepreneurs, especially in our community, Carlos. I mean, you name it, whether it's in tech, whether it's in pharmaceuticals, whether it's in nightlife, hospitality, whether it's in finance, you name it. I mean, Hispanics and the way that we are growing. I mean, obviously, we're becoming that demographic that is having a say, not just in politics, certainly, but in the business community, in what we're doing in creating businesses that have a long-lasting impact here on the Garden State economy. And having said that, it kind of takes me back to whether it's the diversity breakfast you have during the summer, which is great. I mean, so many great businesses gather there, obviously, during the, after the breakfast, but even during the year, a lot of great events that the chamber does in different mixtures. I know down the shore, certainly at the home base, at the chamber office, right near the Meadowlands. But it's interesting because obviously every November, I look forward to the League of Municipalities. I would argue you and Luis and the chamber, everyone that's involved with organizing it, arguably has the best party of the year at the League of Municipalities. It's great food. It's a great ambiance, great networking, like the league is. But what I really enjoy, I think, is the diversity of different community leaders, not just elected officials, because it's easy, right? It's easy for elected to go take a picture. Oh, yo voy, estoy apoyando. Pero at the end of the day, it's not just about elected leaders, but candidates, obviously business leaders as well. What goes into planning something like
It's
that?
super complicated, but the good news is since it has so much good momentum, it kind of sells itself. We have Goya back this year, which is a lot of fun. So they'll be bringing food. We have Montclair State doing a red carpet with some of their students that are studying film. So it's just a fun time. It's free to come in. You're getting fed. You're getting good mixology. You're getting good networking. We used to have, it was so crowded that the people in the back couldn't hear us, but now we've set up cameras. So even in the back, you're seeing what's going out in front, because sometimes there's 200-300 people blocking the front area of the stage. But it's a great event, great networking. People say they're coming for 5 minutes, 3 hours later, they're still there enjoying. So it's a good event. It's a good event.
No, it really is. And again, it's sort of sandwiched in between a lot of good stuff during the day, right? It's like when I look at the calendar, I say, okay, I gotta go because number one, listen, I'll be very, very transparent here. The open bar is always good, right? I mean, I see some of the Tito's open bars. That's very good.
Yeah.
But to your point, the food and a lot of great vendors with different products, like whether it's coffee, whether it's a lot of good eateries within the New York, New Jersey tri-state area, even South Jersey, going into Philly. I mean, I see a lot of small businesses that look at the league and look at, the mixer for you guys, like the Fiesta, as a great opportunity to reach out, I think, to potential new clients. And I think that's one of the better things about the Fiesta at the league, Carlos.
Definitely. And I remember ROINJ last year had a list, and they listed us best bar and best overall party, something like that. So it's
and listen,
good to be recognized.
Listen, and there's a lot of competition because again, during those nights there, I mean, there's open bar after open bar after open bar.
Yeah.
I mean, there comes a point when like you kind of lose track of time, and like you said, you want to pop in for 5 minutes, you want to be seen, but 5 minutes se vuelve una hora, 2 horas.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think from going to so many events, because I've been personally going to the league over 20 years.
Yeah.
I kind of saw what everybody was doing wrong. I just tried to improve. Like, we'll have a large bar, but then, like you said, I'll have a pisco guy over here. I'll have Senor Sangria at another table. So you never wait for anything.
No.
I tell you, I've been to parties where I'm on line for 45 minutes just to get one drink because they have one bartender for 500 guests.
Well, to be fair, eso lo hacen a propósito, tú sabes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You want to save that tab, you know what I'm saying? So, because when I go to these events and I know that there's only one bartender, I double fist. I'm buying 2 drinks. I'm getting 2 drinks. Olvídate. Folks, if you just joined us live, like, comment, and share tonight's episode. My guest tonight is the president and CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Carlos Medina, our guest tonight here on Real Talk. Folks, again, helps get the episode out to more people. We appreciate that here at Jersey First TV. So, Carlos, let's get back to business here. In New Jersey, obviously, New Jersey continues to be a very big destination, whether it's Netflix, setting up, obviously, a studio here in New Jersey. That's going to bring in jobs in a multitude of different sectors, whether it's the technical component, whether it's just creating jobs for actors and people in the business. You're also seeing Amazon. You've been seeing Walmart popping up more throughout New Jersey. But again, it gets back to the Hispanic-owned small businesses. And I would argue going into next year with the World Cup, and listen, obviously here in New Jersey, for us football fans, the real football, as I like to call it, right? Obviously, New Jersey is really beneficial. We obviously have one group play in the beginning, obviously, and then during the course of the tournament, I think there's one quarterfinal game here, and both semifinals, I think, are here, and the final is here in next July. So certainly a lot of commerce, a lot of people are going to be coming in for hospitality, the hotel industry, liquor, food, you name it. I think people are going to benefit a lot in such a melting pot like New Jersey. And, on a side note, what's kind of interesting, listen, being a Cowboy fan, I've gone to Maryland, to that dump of a ballpark. It's not great. It's really disappointing, Carlos, to think that, next year, the World Cup, normally you play in the capital city of the host country. And to think that that's not going to happen because in Landover, Maryland, FedEx Field is a dump. I would argue that probably, not to say that FIFA is capable of chicanery, but you would think with the 250th anniversary of our republic here, probably the U.S. team will probably play in Philadelphia. Kind of makes sense, right? The signing of the Declaration of Independence. Philadelphia, we'll see. But here at MetLife in New Jersey, New York, I got to tell you, man, businesses, I would argue, are going to thrive exponentially, right?
Yeah, we're trying to prepare them some of them are seeking work directly with FIFA, but it's a good opportunity to have specials and bring all those visitors that are coming outside of the region to your restaurant. We may even do a food event early next year to try to, show off what we have here in Jersey. We have so many good restaurants and good culinary scene. You got 15 different Latino style restaurants from Peru, from Ecuador, from Cuba, Puerto Rico, Colombia. It's amazing. The culinary scene in New Jersey doesn't get enough credit. So we're trying to have a food festival that showcases some of that Latino flavor.
No, listen, and I know in the last 2 summers, there's been that, World Cup kind of kickoff event. I know before it was at the American Dream Mall, I think at one of the cafes. I know last summer was at I forgot what the name of the venue was, but it obviously had all the video games.
Yeah, within American Dream, the game room. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like Christmas morning for me. I mean, I'm playing Pac-Man on this ridiculous machine. I'm like, there went $20. Yeah, me jodí. But it was a great venue. And again, shout out to the other organization. I know the Pride Chamber of Commerce, Gus Penaranda, good guy. I know you know him personally. A lot of great local chambers that, were gathering there. Now, when we think about Hispanic-owned businesses, what's the data telling you, Carlos, as well as Luis and the board as well? What's the data telling you about perhaps the most thriving Hispanic-owned business, and maybe the one that's kind of like it's kind of losing steam? It's kind of maybe not eroding, but it's not as fierce as it once was. Is there any data out there that can maybe share?
I mean, I see the data showing, the growth, especially in states like New Jersey, New York, Florida. You're seeing a lot of Hispanic business growth. Nationally, the number of GDP for the entire United States is over $4 trillion annually, which if it was its own sovereign entity, all the Hispanics that live in the United States, it'd be the fifth largest economy in the world, which is very impressive. And we're working with data that's as much as 2 years old. So we're kicking butt. We're doing good things. We're over-indexing, punching above our weight, as some people say.
Sure.
We're 22% of the population, but quite often, when we rank where we rank economically, we're punching above our weight. We're working longer jobs. We work longer. We retire later. So we're great contributors to the workforce in this country, and generally don't get credit for it. You saw it during COVID that a lot of the restaurants and hospital facilities, it was Latinos that were not home. They were the ones still out there putting themselves at risk.
Carlos, let me ask you this though. Specifically, what businesses are you seeing maybe thriving in the last couple of years? Is it nightlife, hospitality? Is it the food?
Nightlife, hospitality has been strong. Construction is booming. I mean, I always tell people you do not have to go to college. You could become an electrician, a plumber. The trades really have a lack of applicants right now. So it's a good field to get into, but construction, engineering, architecture, anything in that space has been highly sought after.
Well, it's interesting you bring up construction, and I didn't want to get into politics yet on the show with you, but it kind of brings up, I think, a big issue that is also suffocating Hispanics and Latinos, Carlos, and I think that's the affordability of New Jersey. And I would argue in some cases, overdevelopment. Like, listen, where I live in Hudson County, I get it. I understand, and mind you, full disclosure, my mayor and state senator does a fabulous job, better than I think any other mayor in the state, of keeping property taxes down. Like, I walk 2 blocks, I see a light rail. I can get to Hoboken in 9 minutes. I can get into the city in 12 minutes. I can walk the other direction towards JFK Boulevard East. I look in Manhattan. I can jump on one of those little very sanitary buses, as they say, on Boulevard East. But I can be in Manhattan with reasonable traffic within 15 minutes. I get it. Where I live, it's a poppin' area. Está en demand. Yo entiendo. Hay ambiente. But again, Carlos, the problem is that developers have also seen that as almost, it's like Christmas morning. And if there's a square inch to develop, they're going to do that. So much so that I think lifelong residents, and in some cases, many Hispanics and Latinos have been priced out of their neighborhoods because of overdevelopment. I mean, so much so that maybe some municipalities can't handle what I would argue is the infrastructure necessary to make this sort of overdevelopment justified. And again, I don't know, again, not to get overly political about this, but I think this is a big issue for Hispanics in this election cycle because affordability and where people are developing, especially in, some people might be like, not in my backyard where, oh yeah, you're packing a lot of these high price rentals that are, again, maybe lifelong residents, especially Hispanics and Latinos, can't afford, man.
Yeah, I mean, affordability is a huge issue. New Jersey is also very difficult. I think we rank 50th as business friendly. So it's a tough place to do business. It means you're sharpening your knife, but at what cost? So you're very lean and able to work anywhere when you could work in New Jersey, but it doesn't make it feel better that you have to put in so much time to try to make a profit. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the disparity study. It just showed that, minority, Black and African American and Hispanic businesses in New Jersey are getting, maybe 1% when we're 22%. So
yeah,
something's wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We could write a book on what's wrong, but it's an issue that is hurting my members. And often it's just red tape and just bureaucracy. I was actually at one of the events. I was talking with Jack Ciccarelli. Being a CPA, I was talking to him about some of the nuances of working with DOT and the overhead. You're actually in New Jersey, quite often there's an incentive for you to make the job more expensive. They will pay you more money because they give you an overhead rating. So it's just wacky. And then you get audited, and then you have to hire an outside auditor that you pay for to audit your work. Then their audit orders your auditor, to the point that my auditor is like, what is going on here? You hired me to audit this work, and now somebody else, they get insulted. So it's tough to do business. We need somebody to get rid of red tape and make processes just smoother. It seems like when you call New Jersey I call any agency, it's like they're mad at you for something.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do work. I'm like, hey, I didn't get a copy of the bid documents. It's not like, sure, Carlos, let me help you. It's like, oh, you didn't get a copy. It was sent on Monday. Yes, ma'am, but I didn't get it. May I get another copy? Hold on.
Yeah, it's almost
it's like you're dealing with one of those diners that it's a joke that you're angry, but they're serious.
And mind you, it's almost like the MVC, but on steroids with a lot of agencies in New Jersey, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I know obviously with you, along with Luis and the rest of the board, obviously, I mean, you're overseeing tens of thousands and really helping provide oversight and guidance to a lot of Hispanic-owned businesses. But what's the challenge with 21 counties? It seems like, every county thinks that they can do it better, or, maybe there's some conflict. I mean, what's been some of the roadblocks or the bumps in the road, as they say, when it comes to your position, again, as president and CEO, with dealing with, local county chapters that maybe aren't doing things on the up and up, and at some point those things get, come out?
I'm committed to this year. We've been a little slow in putting out a program for smaller Hispanic chambers. It'll give some money and some training, because we train anywhere from 50 to 70 entrepreneurs per cohort in our entrepreneurship training classes. And they've been very successful. Even folks from New York City take it. So we've been flirting with the idea of offering smaller chambers once they send us some backup to know that they're legitimate. They have a GuideStar rating. They're filing their taxes. They have a charity registration. Once they show us all that, we'll consider taking some of their members, letting them apply for our class, and then giving them a small sum of money just to help with the back office that they're going to have to do to, run the classes and coordinate with the chamber.
Carlos, what are some examples, again, in your capacity, along with Luis, for example, that maybe you're butting heads with local county chapters where, again, you're an attorney, so you also know the law.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like maybe some county chapters, some county chairs get a little overzealous, or they're not doing things on the up and up. Like, how uncomfortable are those conversations?
It's tricky. It's tricky. I just tell people, look folks up on GuideStar, Candid, and make sure they're giving you all the paperwork, because there's confusion in the marketplace. I remember once getting a call from somebody saying, "Hey, we have the office that you requested," and I couldn't tell what they were talking about. They were giving it to a local county chamber, and they thought that it was us. So I was very, very straight. I said, ask for a copy of the last couple tax returns that they filed, audited financial statements,
Sure.
which any bank or serious funder is going to ask for your audited financials.
Sure.
So just
Carlos,
make sure you're dealing with somebody that has all their ducks in a row, because you could look bad if you're giving an office to an organization that's not paying their taxes and not doing the right thing.
Sure. Carl, let me ask you this. I mean, do you ever feel the need, or has it happened? I mean, I don't want you to name specifically the example, but has it ever happened where, I mean, you have to almost kind of scold or regañar some of these county chairs, because again, they're not doing things in the up and up. And again, it's if they're involved with the chamber and they're evoking the chamber name, the statewide chamber name.
Yeah, technically it's not like they're a subsidiary or there's any type of formal relationship. So they really operate on their own. If they do seek advice, we would help them and give them advice. But they generally operate as their own independent chamber. We don't have any, there's no tentacles, there's no connection.
Yep. No, the reason I ask is because oftentimes, again, you get invited to so many events, that there are chambers at a county, maybe at a local level, who knows? And they're different themed chambers. Obviously, we have an African-American chamber. We've seen the Pride chamber in recent years. I don't know who the chair, I don't know who the executive director is. I know Gus Penaranda stepped down from that, but I know that the New Jersey Pride Chamber, the LGBT.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're still operating the Pride Chamber.
Okay.
I haven't seen much activity, but I see Gus still a lot at events.
Yeah.
There's the Veteran Chamber with Jeff Cantor and Francisco Cortez, which is we've mentored them a lot, like if they needed sample bylaws or recommendations on professionals. Then there's a Mexican-American Chamber.
Sure.
That's very impressive out of Passaic. One of our board members, her husband is the chair or president, I'm not sure which, but they're very sophisticated. I was really impressed. They did an event with like a Tony Robbins type speaker, and they had 700 people, and they just formed like a couple months ago.
Wow. Okay.
They have a really good tentacles in the community. So that was impressive.
Let me ask you this, because I know that certain chambers come up in terms of name. For example, last week at my breast cancer event, one of my sponsors for my annual breast cancer event was the Latino Chamber of Commerce. So what's the differentiation here? Is there a collaboration? I mean,
Latino Chamber, I know them because some of them are involved in real estate, but I don't know like where they file or what territory, because I know they were even talking about Florida. So that chamber, I'm not sure where they operate, if they have, a geographic sweet spot that they try to operate out of. But I see that they're involved a lot with real estate. I always thought they were more like a real estate Hispanic chamber, if I had to give them a name or a description.
Actually, that's fair, because being a member myself there, I mean, I know that when I go to
I deal with Darwin Roman, and I know he's a real estate person.
A lot of the mixers, whenever I talk to them, I mean, obviously, when people, you go to these mixers, it's very generic sometimes. What do you do? Like, I hate these sort of like opening questions during a mixer. I'd rather just talk to people and network. And obviously, to your point, I mean, I run into a lot of realtors, title people, mortgage people as well, which again, I mean, I think there's just certain chambers that are really good at.
I mean, they seem to do a good job at bringing people to the events. They seem pretty well organized.
Now, Carlos, now I know you don't speak for the chamber tonight. You're speaking as Carlos Medina, the attorney, what I would argue maybe at times the political scientist I know in you, right? So let's, 2 weeks from tomorrow, New Jersey's, this Friday, obviously, vote by mail has already begun, but this Friday and Saturday, obviously, early voting begins in New Jersey. And 2 weeks from tomorrow, we're going to select a new governor. And I think that after 8 years of Phil Murphy, I think that New Jerseyans perhaps are hungry for a change. Here's some numbers that I think should alarm everybody regardless, but for Hispanics, especially for homeowners like you and I, The highest property taxes in the country, at an average of 10,157 at an average. Spending has gone out of control. The budget is doubled since 2017. Pretty much, Chris Christie's last budget, the last Republican governor, obviously 8 years of Phil Murphy, has gotten us over almost $59 billion. Again, I get it, COVID and some other variables, but we've seen the budget obviously grow exponentially. We've seen, we've seen $7 billion, Carlos, go to provide, however you want to call it, coddling or assistance or whatever to illegals in New Jersey. Taxpayers they're suffocated and they feel it. And, depends what poll you read. I think polling, as you know, is not an exact science. We've seen that in the last 10 years. But I think both candidates have been hitting the ground. I would argue one has been hitting the ground more than the other. Better. I think Jack Ciattarelli has been going up and down New Jersey, 21 counties. Yeah. I think Rebecca Sherrill certainly, she knows she has an ace in her upper sleeve. Registered Democrats outnumber Republicans by not what it used to, like 1.1 million, but now about 800,000. Regardless, a lot of independents are upset about where New Jersey is. And I'm sure a lot of chamber members that are business owners are like, the taxes, the property taxes, the rents. I mean, it's one thing after another. What are you hearing from members, and what do you see right now as the most pressing need for for chamber members when it comes to selecting the next governor?
They're going to look after what is important to them, their businesses, and their families. So I know early on some folks were worried that Jack wasn't exactly clear on the folks that have been here undocumented, but are working, paying taxes, maybe have a business. And I see in the last month, he's been very clear that he wants to have a path to recognition for those folks. So that I'm happy and I trust him. And I know people are like, oh, he's just saying that. I have to trust him. I know him. He's been coming to chamber events for about 8 years. When he says he's going to come, he shows up. He spends time. He doesn't rush. He really gets the pulse of our members. And unfortunately, Mikey, in July, we had Feria de Negocio, which brings 1,500 people. And the morning of, there was a cancellation, and she just sent the video, and Teresa Ruiz came. But our members were pretty upset because a lot of them traveled, 2 hours to come meet both candidates, and they only got to talk to Jack. Jack worked the room. He took advantage of her not being there. Yeah. But it's happened too many times. I mean, before she was a candidate, everybody had always rumored, she might be wanting to put her hat in the governor's race. Yeah, so I would say in 23.
Carlos, last year at the league, I mean, think about it. Long before we had this cluttered field of Democrats in the field, I mean, every party at the league was, whether it was this county chair walking with her, or John Gottheimer, or Sean Spiller, or Stephen Fulop. I mean, it was a clutter last year at the league. I mean, again, and remember, it was very somber for Democrats with President Trump having just won re-election. So I think Democrats were seizing on that, and she was one of them.
Yeah, so the various events. Then I spoke to Tom Bergeron, who has a business magazine, BINJ, Business in New Jersey Every Day. And at the time, I was still concerned about the Jack and the ICE distinction, that he hadn't clearly expressed it. So he called the Jack campaign. They were upset. They didn't want the article to be written. Same with Cheryl. So he said, I'm going to hold the article. He may still put it in a future date, but right now it's on hold. Contemporaneously with that, myself and John Harmon decided to do a webinar. John Harmon's the president of the African American Chamber. Our two chambers are arguably two of the larger chambers in the country, never mind New Jersey. I mean, 7,000 members. We're the largest chamber by membership in the state, and probably top 5 Hispanic chamber nationally. And I think John's probably top 3 African American chamber nationally. So we have a webinar, very loose on what the date would be, because we're going to record a half hour, one of them, a half hour the other. They don't have to do a debate format. And to my shock, Dale Caldwell attended for her just after they had the conversation with Tom Bergeron about not showing to Hispanic chamber events. So with Tom, they said, No, they mentioned all these organizations. He pushed back. He goes, but you do know the chamber is the largest Hispanic organization with 7,000 members. It's nice you're meeting with 10-person organizations in different parts of the state, but you got to meet with these large organizations. But it didn't happen. And it's one of the reasons many of my members and myself were leaning towards Jack, because Jack showed up and Mikey just is an absentee candidate. She hasn't shown up. And as I was saying earlier, we invited her to 2 galas because they were in her district, not this year, years prior, and to 2 women's events in 23 and 24 in her district. She no-showed to those 4 events. Jack probably showed up to all of them. Even if he wasn't invited, he just bought a ticket and would show up.
Sure.
So it's hard to have these 2 things. And I'm not a person about politics. I'm about people. You know, Christie wins. He calls me. He says, go meet Kim Godano and Forno's tomorrow at 12 o'clock. You know, and I meet. I'm going to be your liaison. I'm all about business. And I thought that was a great relationship. She was always on top of things. Then Phil Murphy, I meet him in Atlantic City. Bon Jovi's his guest. I hand him the card. I never forget. I go, I'm president of the state. He goes, I got to talk to you. Calls me down to Red Bank, gives me his cell, you know, wants to know what's going on. I didn't endorse anybody. I stayed neutral because I liked what Phil was saying, and I liked Kim Godano had been fair to us. So I had a comfort level. Phil's going to listen to the business community. But now when I'm getting all these no-shows, I'm nervous. And I could tell you the veteran chamber is nervous. You know, all the basic chambers that are county and state, the Pride Chamber, Gus, they're just not getting a reaction. She no-showed a veteran event. And Jeff Cantor was like, oh my God, 500 people. And again, hours before, she no-showed, send the husband and Vin Gopal to cover. But people are like, what's going on? I'm at Drum Thwacket full of Democrats celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And the buzz in the room was like, one comment was, does Cheryl like maybe not want this? And there's no way she could say it. So she's just sandbagging it. She wants to lose.
Sure.
But when people are saying that, it's because she's just not.
Well, but this was interesting, Carlos. And again, to your point, you know, it's almost like there seems to be, again,
there's some disconnect with the business community.
Well, sure. I mean,
the Hispanic events are all Democrats, but is that who you want to be speaking to, or to the independent voters that are going to decide the election? So,
well, it almost seems like I think her handlers, are doing a bad job, where they just think, well, we have that registration advantage. There's that vote blue, no matter who crowd. And again, you know, and it's interesting because, you know, and I'm going to talk about this later on the show, going to, you know, these ridiculous rallies over the weekend. You know, obviously there was one in June, there was one this weekend, there was one in Weehawken, in Jersey City, up by me in Hudson County. But it's like at the end of the day, and I'll give you a perfect example. She had a mixer at Surf City. It's a great venue in downtown Jersey City. Not sure if you've heard of it, but she had a mixer, and obviously it was sponsored by the Hudson County Young Democrats. Now I get invited. Well, I just walk in anyway. I don't necessarily get invited, but I just walk in. And a lot of people pull me aside and goes, you know, how do you see this race? And again, let me pick your brain and see if you think I'm wrong with here's a political scientist in me. Now give me your analysis for everybody at home. Like at the end of the day, Democrats still control the legislature. They still control the state Senate, which those seats are not up until 27. You know, all 80 state assembly seats are up for grabs this year. But short of maybe 7-8 seats in Central and South Jersey, Republicans have a chance to maybe shave a little bit of the majority, but there's, you know, Democrats are still going to have the majority. So having said that, you're working on the budget that's already been signed. You're working on what the tax code is now. Whoever the next governor is coming January, I mean, by February, you have to start introducing a new budget. So if it is Jack, I mean, short of a few executive orders, Carlos, whether it's rescinding sanctuary state, which I think there are many Hispanics that say, yeah, por favor, do that. Like, we can't have that here. Other than a few executive orders, you're an attorney, right? So that could get clogged up in the courts for who knows how long. Like, State Senate President Scutari is still the most powerful person in the state. So Speaker Coughlin. So this panic about Jack, oh my God.
There's guide rails for sure, I think is what you're trying to say. That,
well, again,
there's so much a governor could do with the 2 branches, the legislature, the Senate again, and the House being controlled by somebody else.
But again, Carlos, at the end of the day, like the reason we have the highest property taxes in the country, that has nothing to do with the guy residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Like, whatever's going on with the cost of gas, which, by the way, nice just like a handle that's under $3. Groceries have gone down. We have to call balls and strikes fairly here.
Yep.
And it just drives me crazy that I think, again, there's that vote blue no matter who crowd, your sister-in-law, everybody else, right?
Yep.
But the problem is that at the end of the day, what's the panic about when it comes to, it seems like Cheryl's just taking it for granted, like, well, Democrats are going to get me across the finish line. And I think that's a bad strategy, Carlos.
Yeah. I mean, it's super complicated. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been super complicated. At the chamber events, I just tell people to vote. I don't give them any clue
Sure,
as to what I'm going to vote, because I think it's still important at the end of the day. The Hispanic community needs to show that we're coming out 90%. Because I've gotten pushback when I talk to people, and they're like, the Hispanic community doesn't come out, Carlos. You're telling me all these nice numbers, but if they don't come out to vote, why do we need to go to them? So that's a problem. We need to get it out there and vote. And we need to also have a good memory and vote for people that remember us, respect us, appreciate us, understand us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's super frustrating that, you only get calls during the election. That's when they do the hot dog party and everybody gets a free hot dog and these little silly, events. It's just the Hispanic vote's important. It should be respected. I mean, there also is a situation where you're so nervous your candidate's going to say something bad that you don't want to debate and you don't want to be on unscripted scenarios. So that could be part of it. I don't know.
And mind you, I'm glad you brought that up. It's disappointing. I would have liked to seen 3 or 4 debates. I mean, obviously, David Wildstein, the New Jersey Globe, along with Rider University, and Micah Rasmussen did a great job. The first one, I have to tell you, I mean, again, nothing against ABC7, but that was a snooze fest. I thought those moderators were horrible. I think not having an audience, I think, took away. I mean, again, you don't want the screaming matches you heard at Rider University either, but just to be in New Brunswick at the Performing Arts Center and no audience, it's just and the moderators just looked really deflated. I think a third debate would have been helpful.
Yeah, it's what the voters want. They want to see them as much as possible talking about important issues.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's gone a little now just negative,
Yeah.
Both sides. I want to hear the plans, what they're going to do.
Listen, I'm a policy person too. I want to hear about, again, I'm a politics person, but I want to hear about policy too, because at the end of the day, it's what's governing, right? It's how we govern and who's going to govern in 26. That's going to be the end game. Back to business here. Obviously, the chamber events are great throughout the year, but coming up in December, obviously the big gala, and there's a pro wrestling term when you want to put someone over and really hype them up. And I mean, we got to do that on this show here. Okay. We got to hype you up here. I know you're being honored coming up this December. It's a big milestone. It would have been Celia Cruz's 100th birthday, right? So I know you're honoring that. That's the theme of the gala. But we're also honoring other important people, starting with you, Carlos. So tell us about the significance of the gala. And quite frankly, what are you expecting coming up in December?
I feel growing up, besides my dad, who, we lost him this year, but he was a crazy good role model for me. Love him to death. I don't feel like I had good role models, especially on TV or in business. So I really strive through my show, through the chamber, to always put people that look like my members in front of them so they could see that success. It's been super gratifying. I mean, I have members that came in that couldn't get a loan 5 years ago. And this year they're giving us, $10,000 sponsorship because they're doing so well with the classes and all the training we gave them that they want to pay it forward. There's no way to put a price on that. Like the good feeling that you get helping the community at the end of the day. That's what it's about. I got a nasty letter today, fan mail, because I had said I'm leaning towards Jack, which is, it's sad if people know me and what I've done for the community. That's what you would hope they first look at. But I almost think that TDS that people talk about is true. It's just people.
Carlos, I've been telling you for 5 years.
It's just
Carlos, I don't
Because the
lie on
thing
this
was
show,
all
man.
about Trump, and the letter that the chamber forwarded was all about Trump. Like, I didn't endorse anybody, but I certainly didn't say I was leaning towards Trump. I said I was leaning towards Jack. And as you said earlier, you have, two branches of the legislature that'll make sure that everything is done, in a bipartisan manner. So I don't know.
I mean, again, I think people have short memories. When Christie came in, irrespective of what we think about Chris Christie in 2025, but '09 Chris Christie, when he went in 2010, I mean, had to work with Steve Sweeney and
Yeah,
Coughlin. Well, actually, I'm sorry, no, Vinny Prieto, and then
that's right. That's right. It was
Vinny
many.
Prieto
Yep.
and Coughlin. So it wasn't like, oh, Christie could do whatever he wants. I mean, listen, they had to cut a lot of deals. To think that Jack, as a businessman, isn't going to sit in a room with Nick Scutari, who, by the way, Nick Scutari is not working very hard for Rebecca Sherrill, no coincidence, and other people. But the point is, you have to sit there come February for the budget and talk about, again, Carlos, when we think about here in New Jersey as business owners, as Hispanics, I mean, the spending and trend is out of control. The taxes are out of control. So I think at some point, I think Jack's going to win by 2 points. We'll see. But if it's Jack and Nick Scutari and Kurt Coughlin in a room, they're going to have to cut deals, right? I think the last thing that Scutari and Coughlin want is a veto. Again, the governor of New Jersey is really unique and powerful in that line item veto is a big, big deal compared to other governors, right? So it'll be interesting where they're going to have to cut some deals, come to a compromise. Scutari and Coughlin maybe just can't have this bloated budget that we're used to. Maybe Jack wants to shave it down. So the panic about Jack winning, again, folks, for everybody at home, nobody's uterus is under attack. Abortion is codified into New Jersey law. Stop it with these election time scare tactics. At the end of the day, it's about taxes, affordability, like you said. And for business owners, hey, if they want to buy property, our rent's going to go up. All these things matter, especially to Hispanics where, like you said, 22% and rising in New Jersey. These are things that matter, Carlos.
And I think any intelligent person or think tank would say that having different parties in power is a positive thing. I can't think having a governor and the legislative branch all just rubber stamping is a good thing. So it's positive at the end of the day.
Now listen, and to your point, it must be frustrating because I know you're not a political person. So to get a letter from the typical vote blue, no matter who person is annoying, right? Porque eso cansa.
I want to tell you another thing that's annoying. So I told you the story. She doesn't show up to the webinar, and Dale's there. And I could have been more aggressive with Dale, but I didn't want to be somebody that's so aggressive that I'm impacting the race somehow. So I was pretty mellow. But after that, I decided to ask Jack a question. And I think it caught him by surprise. I asked him he had been asked about Black and Hispanic voters, and he said, next question. So he explained that he was in Cranberry, New Jersey at an eminent domain of this old farm, and he really was there to talk about affordable housing, congestion, and the overbuilding of these beautiful areas of New Jersey, and that the first question totally was opposite. So he said, when I give somebody the honor of getting the first question, I want it to be that they talk about why I'm here in the press conference. So I decided not to answer it. Then when he answered to me, it could have been better. I'm going to be honest. He said something like, you're Black, and because I said, hey, now you have a Black and Hispanic voter to talk to address. And he said, oh, you guys are Jersey. You're not just Black and Hispanic. That's fine. I understand. But it's ironic. They took my clip and they started sharing it on social media, and people getting mad. Yeah, he had a second chance to answer and he didn't, without realizing he's in the room. Yeah. Jack is in the room with a Black and a Hispanic voter. Not only that, he's with a Black and Hispanic leader that lead organizations with over 10,000 members, and she sent a surrogate. And then you're going to say that he didn't answer the question? My head exploded. What? So I feel used. They're using my video, and I feel like an idiot. I'm like, yeah, he didn't have to answer the question. It's actions speak louder than words. The guy has been to 12 of our events in the past 4 years, and the other candidate has been to 0. What on earth does that mean? It means something.
Well, Carlos, I mean, listen, you're giving me a softball down the middle of the plate here. What, shitty journalism in New Jersey? Oh, wow. Give me Lagro. That never happens, right? So, yeah, no, you're right. And I think the way that was also sort of to your point, yes, it was almost like, the typical liberal journalists in New Jersey want that gotcha question in a moment because what? Boom.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And again, the reason independent media is thriving like mine and the establishment is dying is because what we're trying to do here is ask the pertinent questions, not just, oh, I want clickbait. Oh, I want that question because I want to be able to get that traction. No. And like to your point, this wasn't like it was like some Hispanic event. Like it was an eminent domain event. Right. And it's like, again, it's another reminder why people lose faith in the establishment media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having said that, now getting back to, again, as looking at my notes here, and folks, again, if you haven't just done it already, like, comment, and share tonight's episode here with the president and CEO of the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in New Jersey, Carlos Medina, my guest here tonight on Real Talk. Again, folks, helps get the show out to more people. Now, Carlos, let me ask you this, because when we think about, setting up again a small business, people just think, well, we see all these ads on TV, right? Oh, you can create an LLC in 10 minutes and it only costs a couple $100s, but that could be a little misleading, right? So in your capacity as an attorney, in your capacity as the president and CEO, along with the great things you do, along with Luis and the board, what do you want to share with our viewers tonight where someone might just be like, "Ay, ese fácil. I just go on LegalZoom,
Yeah, I mean,
and just in 10 minutes, I have a business." No, I think it's a little more complicated than that, right?
yeah. If they come to our events, and most of our events are free, we'll give them a pretty good preview of what it takes to become an entrepreneur. And then we have the two classes. We have the ETP Entrepreneurship Training Program and Level Up, which is LETS, Let's. The Level Up is a little bit more higher end, but none of them is a true startup. You need to have at least like 100,000 in revenue. So when we see the real startups, we'll sit with them, we'll mentor them, and try to make sure that that's a decision they want to make, because we don't want them to have to go through 15 weeks of classes and then at week 14 determine that they can. That's still better than them trying to do it and losing lots of money. So if anything, I wouldn't mind they have second thoughts and maybe abandon their dream during training, not during when they have a loan to pay back to the bank and a property, because I've seen some really bad disasters happen to small businesses that borrow money from their friends and family. So it could be sad, but we just try to give them a reality check. We look at their business plan, or we help them create the business plan, and we're giving them a lot of guidance. We have a proprietary app that one of my trainers developed. So you go in the app and we identify Fernando needs 10 hours of social media, needs 5 hours with a lawyer, needs 10 hours with QuickBooks, needs to do this market research. We go in deep, and we're giving you the tools. You graduate the business plan, you bring that to the bank, and you either get additional money, or you get a new loan, or you get new terms on your loan. But it's a very fulfilling program and very unique nationally. I was talking with Luis Miranda about it recently, and he was very impressed. I mean, we're really getting entrepreneurs to the next level. It's exciting to see, because in 10 years, if we're the majority and the way things are going, to see all these Hispanic businesses is going to be amazing. And then all the people that were mean to us are going to learn.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, you bring up, obviously, the census data keeps telling us that probably by 2040, I mean, we're going to be the majority in the country. And even here in New Jersey, I mean, one could argue we could be more than a quarter of the population here in New Jersey.
Easily. They're probably that now if the census was truly accurate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Having said that, you brought up a word that really stood out for me: fulfilling. And certainly what you're doing along with Luis and the board is extremely fulfilling. But I think it sort of begs the question, Carlos, how much longer you want to keep doing this?
I enjoy it. I really do.
Okay.
I really enjoy working with people. I want to shout out also, because I think in the past year, I've had more interaction with the Latino Hispanic Caucus, Teresa Ruiz, and they do a good job. They do a good job with their constituents. Now that I get closer to them, I could see, the businesses that they help, the constituents that they help. So it's a nice family of Hispanics here in New Jersey doing good things. So I want to keep on doing it. I don't foresee slowing down with the chamber anytime soon.
Now, Carlos, over the summer, I mean, after the primary, certainly both candidates, both Jack Ciattarelli and Rebecca Sherrill, obviously went through a certain process about selecting their lieutenant governor running mate. And to be fair, I mean, your name was floated out there
Mhm.
for the Cheryl campaign. And obviously, when I saw that list and I know Wildstein published it, I said, hey, I'm not surprised. Carlos is a really respected, prominent person in New Jersey. And so I wasn't surprised at all to see you on that short list. But what went into your thought process when you were approached? And I'm assuming you declined. What was the thought process behind that?
I was called on a Saturday. I was in my kitchen, and it was probably, I guess, the campaign manager. And it was kind of an interesting call because I really didn't have a relationship with them. I did have a relationship with another staffer on the Cheryl, more on the congressional side. So it kind of caught me off guard, especially since my sister-in-law is working on the campaign. I thought maybe I'd get a heads up. But my feeling is, and this is my feeling, that it was more an ask to be able to print my name in the paper, that they really weren't interested in me, because it was just like, Mikey didn't call me. It didn't seem serious.
That's
like
insulting.
When
That's insulting,
Kim
though.
Godano asked me, I met her at a diner. It was very formal. Carlos, I know you for this many years. Would you consider this? It wasn't a phone call like, hey, have somebody else call. And then the speed with which they picked Dale, he must have already been in the mix and, at the 1 yard line by the time they called me. I really feel it was just about that. And ironically, inside baseball, I won't say names, but I know some of the people Jack was talking to, and they were very diverse. He just didn't use it to try to, tell people, vote for me because I considered, Susan Martinez or
Sure.
But I know he did consider a lot of different people.
Sure.
So yeah, I just felt like it was just to use my name, and then the thought that, oh, maybe he's associated with the campaign if she's reaching out to him to be the lieutenant governor.
Well, I'll say this.
At my age, I'm 58, which isn't old, but
you're a young guy.
Losing my dad this year, it was really a tough blow to me.
My condolences again to you and your family.
El ánimo. You know how they say el ánimo? I don't have the ánimo to do something like politics, man.
Sure. Well, listen, again, my condolences to you and your family. I know that we had talked during the passing again. And again, you'll take the high road, but it's my show, so I can make the jokes here. I mean, again, to be the lieutenant governor running mate, I mean, listen, it's bad enough you have to deal with your sister-in-law enough as much as you do to spend more time with her. It'd probably be a little disheartening. I'll leave it at that. So that's my joke because I can get away with it. But having said that, so again, but having said that, I think moving forward, we see a lot of Hispanic representation. Well, not as much, I think, as we should, but we certainly see it, in Trenton. Obviously, we have the first Hispanic/Latina member of the House of Representatives with Nellie Poe. We'll see if she has a primary challenge next year. Yep. Certainly, we at the legislative level here in New Jersey, Senate Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz certainly is a very prominent voice. Not a fan of her voting record, but again, give her her flowers.
She was good, and it's funny because at our event, I was talking with like 8 people in a circle, and somebody said, "Why didn't she reach out to Teresa to be the LG candidate?" And somebody was like, "She wouldn't pick Teresa. She doesn't want to be outshined. Teresa's such a good public speaker." So I hadn't thought about it. But it was an interesting, snide comment or insult, backhanded compliment or insult, however the phrase is.
I mean, but to be fair, also, you also run the risk if she's running, obviously the state Senate seats are up until 27. You also don't want to run the risk, especially in that part of Essex County, even though her district changed a little bit after redistricting. You don't want to run the risk of now, maybe not to say that seat's in play, but she's been a fixture in that district for some time.
Well, even when the Menendez seat became available, I think geographically is what hurt her, because they're like Booker's out of Essex, and then you're going to have 2 people out of Newark, representing the state. It didn't make sense, but I think she would have been a good candidate. I like to see qualified people running, whether I agree with their politics or not. It's always good to see qualified people. It makes the Latinos look better.
Sure. No. Speaking, obviously, since we just finished Hispanic Heritage Month, but I wanted to pick your brain about this because I'm such a vocal fan of him on this show. I saw you at the investiture a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, that day was marred by the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So it was a somber day for me, having met Charlie Kirk some years ago. But, can we say, are there enough words out there to really put over and really compliment the outstanding job that Andres Acebo, the now 13th president of New Jersey University, and the job that he's done, man. I know Andy for years. Our families know each other. And to be there in person, to see him at the investiture, Carlos, para mí, hombre, bro, I mean, I look at someone like Andy, what a great job he did.
To be
Literally,
seeing live somebody like him, I don't want to butter him up too much. I don't want to get his head too big.
sure.
But it's almost like when people say, "Oh, I saw this great baseball player." I mean, the guy, I'm not sure he's 40 years old yet.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And that speech he gave, I was like, I could never do that.
And to be
He
fair,
memorized like a half-hour speech, and it was like boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
and listen, and to be fair, I mean, prior to him being named the interim president, NJCU was, I mean, estaba jodido. I mean, we're talking about the brink of bankruptcy, and for Andres to make the decisions, and he had to make a lot of tough choices because number one, he wasn't the first choice for that job, and number two, he wasn't getting the best support system out of Trenton. Let's be fair, but three, he's done a marvelous job, and I think that especially now with the imminent merger between NJCU and King University, I just think the sky's the limit for someone like Andres, who really, I think, has set the bar really high for academics and for university presidents, especially for Hispanics like him, Don Joven. So, and he's so accomplished. I think the sky's the limit for Andres, man.
You got to run him for politics soon.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not sure if he'd want to do that, but I mean, his star, I mean, you want to talk about getting the ammunition behind him. I mean, what he's done there, nothing short of a miracle, Carlos.
Yeah. Did you see the post Jack did about his elevation?
Yeah.
He did like a long thing, family from Cuba. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And again, and it's funny, he's been a regular on this show, as have you. And I love talking academics with him. Big NFL fan. He's a big Dolphin fan, long-suffering Dolphin fan. So it's always good to talk with him about that. But Andres really, again, and when I saw that, again, getting back to the insider list, and again, I'll be gracious here. Again, I do want to thank Insider NJ and Marilyn Rivera, certainly the management there. Obviously, we saw some names, as I mentioned to you, on
this. They said they had to put you on the list because you drink all their liquor at the league every year.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, it's almost like, well, I mean, listen, you didn't see any captions. So I said, well, they may have struggled to come up with a caption that maybe they wanted to make sure I didn't excoriate them over. But again, we saw a lot of good people here. Hudson Regional Health, Adam Alonzo, the Chief Strategy Officer, certainly Alayana Alfaro Post with PSC&G, as I mentioned, Andres Acebo. We also saw, obviously, I know Francisco Cortez, you mentioned obviously during the program as well. We saw another interesting name here, Christopher Flores, the director of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and the social chair for the Democratic Latino Caucus. Obviously, other big names here, as well as yourself. Congratulations again to you. We saw, again, listen, we saw Melissa Baralt, a Latina educator, motivational
She's
speaker.
a new member of our board. I like Melissa. She's good.
Yeah, Melissa's great people. She tunes into the show. She doesn't say it loudly because it might get her in trouble. I know she tunes in regularly. Obviously, Fernando Mazariego from Antonio, Burgos Associates, New Jersey, as well. Some really good journalists. Some guy named Fernando Uribe. Yeah, I don't know, some guy, right? But also, obviously, other great names here. Julie Diaz with the Department of Labor and Workforce Development. Also, we saw Javier Robles, the chair of the New Jersey Disability Action Committee. A lot of great people here.
Yep.
What were your thoughts when you saw the list?
I thought it was pretty well done. Yeah. I didn't know it was Marilyn at first. I was like, wow, how did they know all these people? But then when they said Marilyn was the mastermind, I go, okay, makes sense because she knows so many people and she knows who's the good people to put on the list. Yeah.
And mind you, too, again, shout out to her. She throws another good party at the league every year. The Latinos on the rise at the Tropicana. Again, another great 2-hour open bar. So I never like to miss those, right? But Carlos, again, it's 6:00 here in the East Coast. We're about to wrap up here, folks, with Carlos Medina, the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce president and CEO here. Folks, again, for more information, if you're looking for resources, if you're looking to start your own business here, again, Hispanic-owned business, please visit their website. Can't say it enough at www.shccnj.org. Make sure you like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, also on X. Check out their great content on YouTube. Are you doing anything on TikTok, by the way? I'm just curious.
We just started.
Good. Okay, good stuff. So, Carlos, again, I want to thank you for your time. I'll give you the last word here tonight on Real Talk, sir.
Get out and vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but just go out and vote. It's important that when they do those exit polls, we see a high Hispanic voter turnout. Okay. So important. Don't be lazy. Get comfortable in your chair. Get out there and vote.
Real quick, I know the gal's coming up in December. Real quick, date and time, location.
December 11th. You can check it out on the website. Big names. We can't announce them yet, but we have a lot of big names confirmed and big names traveling. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, listen, it gives me a reason to bust out the tuxedo. Exactly. So, I mean, obviously, I'll see you at the league. We'll see what the mood of the league will be, right? Obviously, it's after Election Day. We're going to...
I don't know if you saw, but we'll be in Mexico the 5th through the 9th with an economic trade mission with the governor. It's the first time Choose New Jersey is actually a partner with the chamber. They said it's the first time a non-governmental entity has been a partner.
Okay.
So pretty good stuff. I'm looking forward, especially with what's going on in the world. If we need to replace China as a supplier, Mexico could be a nice partner right there.
Yeah, certainly. So again, good luck with that. I look forward to seeing you at the fiesta at the league. We'll see if it's Governor-elect Chiarelli or Governor-elect Cheryl. We'll find out in 2 weeks, folks. Just to echo Carlos's sentiment, 2 weeks from tomorrow, folks, again, you have options. Vote accordingly. I'll say vote for Jack, please. But in any event, get out there, especially Hispanics and Latinos. Let's make our voices heard during the election time. Not just, just voting. Make sure our voices are always heard here in New Jersey. And one of the biggest voices is our guest tonight. He is the president and CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Carlos Medina. Carlos, real quick, Giant fan, 2-5, heartbreaking loss in Denver yesterday. Tough schedule, but you like what you see with Jackson Dart.
I love what I see with him. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, you're concerned about.
Was really good, and even this game, he made a mistake, but he played pretty decent overall. I like him. He moves well. I like his energy.
You have to be a little concerned with Cam Scadaboo, maybe getting CTE too young in life with the hits he's
taking. They're using him too much. I think they got to rotate a little more.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, again, to your point about Hispanic-owned businesses, we see it all the time. I mean, I saw it. Listen, a couple of weeks ago, I took my dad's a big Jet fan, as you saw, big Cowboy fan over here. I mean, we saw so much during the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, again, as we saw early on at MetLife. They do a great job, I think, during Hispanic Heritage Month, during Jets and Giant home games, where they get a lot of products out there. So a lot of great Hispanic-owned businesses. And again, it's really due largely in part to the great oversight and the great guidance by the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. Folks, their president and CEO, Carlos Medina, joins us tonight. Folks, again, like, comment, and share. For everybody at the chamber, do me a favor. Like, comment, and share tonight's episode. It gets the episode out to more people. Carlos, te quiero mucho. Love you, man, for coming on. Appreciate our conversations. And I'll see you at the league. And thank you for supporting Real Talk.
God bless. Take care. Thank you, Fernando.
Have a good night, brother. Take care. Folks, good stuff there. With Carlos Medina, the, again, president and CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, here on the program, folks. And I can't say enough about how enlightening and really how insightful his conversations are. And really nobody understands the pulse of the business community here in New Jersey like Carlos Medina, along with Luis de la Hoz and all the great people at the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So again, folks, if you've just joined us live, like, comment, and share tonight's episode. Trust me, it's never disappointing here on the broadcast here with Jersey First TV. Folks, it's a little after 6 p.m. here on the East Coast. If you're just joining us live, again, I can't say enough. Like, comment, and share. We appreciate your support. It really helps get the show out to more people. All right, folks, you know what time it is. It's time for final thoughts. And folks, let me start off by saying very bluntly, I don't like Anthony Veneri. I don't like him. I think este pendejo is a clown. I think he is a smug bastard, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And the reason that I have a bone to pick with Anthony Veneri, right? Never mind the shitty job he does with DPW, because the streets in North Bergen están mierda. Drive through North Bergen, folks, you know what I'm talking about. Potholes, lack of pavement, I don't know, whatever. So again, as I put it there, instead of, Anthony Veneri, being out there and still think he's a viable political person, like, do your effing job, bro. Fix the streets in North Bergen. That's your effing job. Okay? When I'm driving throughout North Bergen, I don't feel like I have to check my alignment because la calle está mierda. Why? Because of clowns like Anthony Veneri. So call them there, 201-392-2000. 201-392-2000. Dígale a este huevón to do his effing job. Okay? Pave the streets. Fill the potholes. Okay? I shouldn't have to worry about my alignment because you're too effing lazy. But what bothers me about Anthony Veneri, among other things, con este come mierda, you can see la cara come mierda right there. What bothers me about Anthony Veneri is the audacity of this piece of shit. And I'll call you that, Andy. I don't have a problem saying that to you. The audacity of this clown. Okay? Last week, folks, if you weren't aware, last week, a very successful 2025 edition of A Professor's Quest to Save Breasts emanated from Waterside, the world famous Waterside in North Bergen. And especially thank you to Francis, the entire family there, and the management and the staff at Waterside for a successful event. As we raised almost $4,000 to benefit the American Cancer Society. As you can see here, folks, throughout the month of October, we're rocking pink for a reason. Because here on this show, we are dedicated to raising money for making strides against breast cancer. It was great to go to the Prudential Center yesterday for the Making Strides Walk. Shout out to Lulu and Lala from KTU radio fame and all the great and all the survivors there, to Danielle Buckler, everybody working at the American Cancer Society who helps me every year to help make my event a success. And a shout out to my incredible team who worked with me last week, which includes our great DJ, an amazing realtor, by the way. Folks, if you ever have to buy a house or sell a house, go with Ezekiel Gonzalez with Remax. But the great team included our great DJ, Ezekiel Gonzalez, my incredible co-host, the lovely Alexandra Hammer. Okay? The outstanding Sylvia Sapinska, the remarkable Jacqueline Rodriguez, the amazing Vladimir Carrero, and of course, yours truly. So I want to thank everybody for coming out last week, for donating, not just in person, but also online. But what was interesting, folks, is the fact that word gets back to me that somehow on a Wednesday night, Anthony Veneri made it a point to go out maybe for a meal with the rest of the entourage in North Bergen. And I get it. Waterside's one of your favorite places. You want to go eat. I don't blame you. It's a good restaurant. I like the food there. But what bothers me about clowns like Anthony is the audacity to say, hey, you know what? You're walking in, great. You have no idea what the event is. But you know what, Anthony? Can you be an adult for once? And can you put your dislike for me aside and just say, hey, for a guy that's shitting money out of his ass, like Anthony Veneri, you think it would, would it cost this mother effer 2 seconds to just take out his wallet and maybe just throw a 20 at the check-in table? No one's saying you have to come in and say hi to me, Anthony. I have no desire to say hi to you. So trust me, the feeling is mutual. I don't like you either. But I can be an adult. And I've gone to plenty of venues where I don't like people, but I can be an adult. I can be a mature adult and say, you know what, me cae mal este come mierda. But you know what? I'll go and be an adult y comparto y me voy. I can be an adult, donate something, and be on my way. Okay? For word to get back to me to be like, F this guy, because it's my event. No, Anthony, F you. Okay? And for a guy, again, with money coming out of his ass, you shit money, Anthony. You can't even put $20 in the check-in or in the donation box? Fuck out of here. You a bum. You a clown. Not that I respected you anyway, but I have even less respect for you. And the fact that the streets in North Bergen continue to be shitty. I'm a homeowner in North Bergen, bro. I pay taxes in North Bergen. Okay? Where are my taxes going to? What? For you to sit on your ass or for DPW to sit on his ass? I mean, hey, the North Bergen Parking Authority, they're really good at giving tickets out when it's pouring rain, when you barely clean the streets of North Bergen. But somehow, este come mierda running DPW somehow's doing a good job. Have you seen the streets in North Bergen? Have you seen como están hecho de mierda? Really? Are you proud of that, Anthony? Like, what are you doing all day? You scratching your balls there in the office? ¿Qué tú estás haciendo, bro? ¿Qué te está ahí rascando las huevas ahí en la oficina haciendo nada? That's what you're doing. Let's be honest about who Anthony Veneri is. Then they even have the class to, folks, again, have a little class, Anthony. Go in and donate. Go upstairs. Be on your way. Okay? But when you know it's my event and you're like, F this guy, get the fuck out of here. You petty, childish bullshit. It's no wonder nobody respects you. It's a wonder nobody likes you. Okay? And I don't got a problem saying it to you. So if you have an issue with me, the next time you see me, come up to me and be like, Fernando, I don't like what you said. Cool. Not a problem. My response to you will be, you a bitch. You a whiny, sanctimonious, lazy bitch. That's what Anthony Veneri is. That's it. I don't, folks, you can't say it any clearer than that. And again, as a homeowner and taxpayer in North Bergen, to see the shitty conditions that the streets are in, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro. And to think you want to run for mayor one day? Fuck out of here. Please. I want to vote for you to run a Target or a Walmart. Get out of here with your nonsense. But once again, folks, I want to thank you all for attending last week and for donating to a professor's quest to save breasts to benefit the American Cancer Society. Okay, I want to thank everyone who took the time to come out and participate and support the event. And I'm sure some people showed up, and I know some people showed up that maybe don't like me because of my political opinions on this show. But they're being adults, which is more than I can say for this jerk off over here. Speaking of jerk offs, let's talk about Joel Brooks, folks. Yes, this jerk off here, as you know, is running for a council seat in Ward B, on the south side of Jersey City. Now, small disclaimer, folks. Again, if you ever look at Joel Brooks, I think the last thing you ever want to do, number one, is be stuck in an elevator with him. I mean, with the size of that nose, you could literally pass out from oxygen deprivation. Okay, with the size of those nostrils. But having said that, what I think is interesting is, in my capacity, working with the Hudson Media Group, which I host Talking Politics, which by the way, you can check out on their websites and all their social media every Friday. Check out the latest editions there. But the Hudson Media Group Executive Director and CEO, Pat O'Malley, had asked me to moderate debates in Jersey City. Now, I was asked to moderate debates for Ward A candidates and Ward B candidates. Now, of course, all the candidates who were certified were invited. And somehow, Este Come Mierda decided to waste gas and money and time to drive to North Bergen to the studio and think that somehow being a child is a flex. This is exactly what happened. So this is what he posted right after leaving the Hudson Media Group studio with his little stunt. Let me play that for you. I'll tell you a bit more about Joel Brooks and the people that support him.
Everybody, Joel Brooks running for Jersey City Ward B Council. I just walked out of the Hudson Media Group debate. The reason I did that is the moderator, who is someone we had asked to change. He's someone with really dangerous views. He's transphobic, homophobic. He's been cheering on the ICE raids that have been terrorizing our communities. And, I don't want to platform someone like that. So I invite you to hear from me directly. I'll be doing a Facebook and Instagram Live. We'll also be doing a Reddit AMA and also a Ward B candidate forum on October 21st at the Gallo Center in Lincoln Park, 6:30 p.m.
Maybe someone should show up there. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Hosted by the West Side Community Association. If you want to see my opening statement, what I had to say at the debate, stay here.
And by the way, folks, can someone explain to me how this is a flex? You're running for office and you are tissue soft, my man. Where somehow, again, and let me be very clear about Joel Brooks. Okay. Let me be very clear about Joel Brooks himself. Okay. For Joel Brooks to make these accusations, no, Joel, I'm not homophobic. Okay, I'm not homophobic at all. I don't have an issue with gay people. I mean, I tolerate you, don't I? I tolerate people like Stuart Thomas, don't I? I mean, so how exactly am I a homophobe when I'm happy to tolerate you and others? I mean, you may want to have a conversation with your wife. I mean, whatever. I mean, you have an arrangement. Hey, God bless you. But it's kind of hard to call me a homophobe when, again, I interact with gay people all the time. I'm quite amicable with them, as a matter of fact. I mean, again, I tolerate you, don't I? Or somehow the Nazis have called me a transphobe. Why? Because I refuse to subscribe to the notion that men can be women and women can be men. No, that's called understanding biology. Now, I don't know when you took high school biology, Joel, but I know when I took it at Memorial High School, I got an A. As a matter of fact, I got college credits because I took AP biology. Okay? No amount of dress up or makeup is going to make a man a woman. Man's never going to have a uterus. No amount of makeup, chopping off your tits or whatever, cutting your hair, okay, is going to make a woman a man. Like, a woman's never going to have a penis or a vas deferens. Okay? A man's never going to have a vagina. Sorry. Okay? So I refuse to subscribe to some social construct just because you say so. And the rest of, the Lollipop Guild in Jersey City say so. Right? Let's continue again with this stunt, which he thought was a flex. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Joel Brooks. I am running for Jersey City Council Ward B. The west side is the best side, as we all know.
And by the way, again, folks, thank God it was a very open-ended type of area. I mean, with the size of that nose, I could have passed out from oxygen deprivation. That's sucking a lot of oxygen there. But let's continue.
I am a dad. I'm a tenant. I'm a union organizer.
You're a dad.
And I'm fighting to make sure that working families can stay on the west side. We have a crisis of affordability. We are the neglected, one of the more neglected parts of Jersey City. And that's why I ran 4 years ago, because I want to make sure that the west side gets the same attention and resources as downtown. I'm fighting for universal rent control, universal childcare for kids ages 0 to 2, safe, clean, and green streets. I'm cross-endorsed with Bill O'Day for mayor, who I urge all my supporters to vote for. And I want to say thank you to the Hudson Media Group for having us today. And thank you for Danon for coming. But I'm actually not going to be able to continue with the debate. I had asked the Hudson Media Group to find a different moderator, and they were not able to for some reason. So.
No, not for some reason. It's because they're adults over there at the Hudson Media Group. Unlike you, Joel, unlike the rest of the idiots at the Democratic Socialists of America or the Hudson County Democratic Socialists or the New Jersey Democratic Socialists. Like, we're adults over here. We're not tissue soft. Like, we'll talk with everybody. And again, that's how you know they're on the wrong side of ideas, when they can't even articulate their ideas against somebody that's going to challenge them. Again, folks, it's a typical progressive. It's the typical whiny social justice clown, woke fool, insufferable lesbians, like Caleb Burrell and others, right? In Ward B. But let's continue.
I invite people to the Ward B forum next week at the Westside Community Association at the Gallo Center because I am not going to platform someone like Mr. Uribe. So thanks for the time, and we'll see you next week.
Imagine driving from Jersey City in Ward B, which, by the way, folks, it's a pretty decent drive, especially, whether it's rush hour or anything else. Imagine wasting time and gas and money to come up there to look like a child and you embarrass yourself. Folks, I don't have enough fingers and toes to name the amount of people that reached out to me via text, via email, via phone, just to tell me, like, what an embarrassment. And this is a guy running for a city council seat. Like, he can't even take differing points of view when it comes to being challenged on his views, and he wants to serve people. Folks, the people that lost last week were the residents of Jersey City, were the residents of Ward B. All right. Now, what was interesting, again, and I want to, I'm someone that keeps receipts, right? So what was interesting, folks, about this little stunt was going on. Now, again, he blocked me from his social media because I was notified, obviously, of the video that, I just played for you there, right? But what's interesting is the people liking this post and supporting childish behavior. Let me just read you a few people here who I don't really care for. Seoul, Jersey City, right? The Spirit of Liberation, Basura. Who else? Idris Zahidi, running with Musa Ali. Oh, wow, cool. Yeah. Maybe you can get some other endorsements from like jihadists, like, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, who are happy to support a clown like Musa Ali, right? Who else on this list here? Let me see here. Oh, the Hot Girls Forever. Hot Girls for New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, there's some fugly looking females here. So I think that's a really misleading title for a handle on a page. But, the Hudson County Democratic Socialists. Who else? The New Jersey Working Families Party. Basura. Let's see what else here. The Central Jersey Democratic Socialists of America. Of course. The Jersey City LGBTQ Alliance. The typical ugly feminists and lesbians. Caleb Burrell and others. Children, who, by the way, tried really hard to cancel me. But by the way, it's October 20th. I'm still here, honey. I'm not going anywhere, despite what her best efforts were, right? Let's see who else here. I mean, nothing says self-serving or not having a flex when you like your own post. Like, you post something, Joel, it's for other people to like, not like your own post. I get it. You want to sort of increase and pad the likes on your post. That's pretty trashy, but okay. Let's see who else here. Kind of surprising. Dan Israel for Wardy Council. Nice guy. I didn't think he would, like or support a post like this that pretty much is exemplifying childish behavior in adolescence. But I thought better of you, Dan. But yeah, you can kiss my ass too. Of course, Megan Ixom, of course, a woman who, yes, we all know, if you look at her social media, yes, any shape is healthy. No, honey, when you have heart disease or diabetes any day now, that's not. Yeah, it's a bad message about body acceptance. No, but this is one of the insufferable, woke fools and alphabet mob people in Jersey City that don't like Fernando Uribe, who I'm sure did her best to try to cancel me during the summer. And honey, I'm still here too. Who else here? Let me see. Katerina Peters. Nice little number there. Nice little hottie. But insufferable if you're going to support posts like this, right? Lillian Bustle. Jesus Christ. Yes. The NYC NJ Burlesque MC and body liberationist. Like, what are you liberating? Like refrigerators? I mean, clearly. I mean, you're not keeping them shut. That's for sure. Let's see here. Who else? Jay Gellizer. Yes. Another insufferable local leftist whose wife is just as insufferable as he is. You know what, Jay? I keep receipts here. And for someone that used to respect you, because clearly you don't respect me, if you're liking social media posts like this, what you're telling me is you don't respect me. Cool. I don't respect you. Even less do I respect is your wife, who apparently somewhere in adulthood failed high school biology. Folks, a little context here. You know what's really funny about Jay's wife? During the watch party in June at the Zeppelin Beer Garden in downtown Jersey City, I'm having what I think is a normal conversation with Jay Gellizer. Of course, his wife is nearby, okay, eating to no one's surprise, right? And I make a comment where I'm consistent. I believe transgenderism is mental illness. Folks, it's not normal. Let's stop rationalizing and normalizing mental illness, which is what transgenderism is. Simple as that. And you would think that, I don't know, you would think I stole her daughter's bicycle from their front lawn. Really? Honey, it seems like you and Jay need to, and mind you, folks, again, go on Google and you can retake biology courses. So if you're looking for something to do on a date night, Jay and Olga, maybe retake biology. Take the class over. Do that as a date night. Maybe take it online, open a bottle of wine. No, actually, no, better not. No, don't take a bottle of wine. I want you to be sober for this because clearly, well, no, actually, no. Actually, drink wine because sober, you clearly don't understand basic physiology and biology. You may want to take it drunk. Maybe you'll learn to. Maybe you'll actually pass the class because God knows Jay and Olga didn't pass it the first time. Let's see who else here. Olga Diaz. Yeah, of course, no one's surprised. Another TDS person again, Let's see who else here. Who? I guess an architect. Anur Bangard, JC. Okay. Man, I guess keep planting fruits or vegetables. I don't know what to tell you, honey. What else here? I know I saw like another insufferable person, Isaac Jimenez, that trash human being. Yeah. And I'm sure others, who saw the original post there. Again, folks, it's not a flex when you are campaigning to represent people in Jersey City. And if you think the goal is to be a child, have little temper tantrums, and think that people should take you seriously. Folks, you have choices on November 4th in Ward B. One of them should not be Joel Brooks. And how great would it be for him to take another L in November like he did 4 years ago? That'd be wonderful. Folks, you have options in Ward B. Joel Brooks shouldn't be one of them. You should want to elect an adult to the city council, not a child like Joel Brooks. Simple as that. Now, again, having just shed some light on some jerk-offs here, Anthony Veneri and Joel Brooks, let's get off to more children here. Obviously, as you all know, the No Kings rally or No Kings Day rallies took place all across this country this past Saturday. And even here in New Jersey. And folks, there was no shortage of beta males and soy boys and social justice clowns and woke fools. Okay. And the compassion mongers and everybody else, the alphabet mob, you name it, here throughout New Jersey. But of course, in nearby Weehawken, folks, there was no shortage of any of these in Weehawken. So, of course, Fernando Uribe decided to go on the road with Real Talk and be in attendance for this. And folks, I think it's fair to say for everyone, because the traffic's been good on it, on my TikTok, on my Instagram, on my Facebook, I think you all got a good laugh, as much as I did, seeing these children in Weehawken. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. It's Real Talk on the road here in Weehawken, and apparently it's there's no shortage of all the soy boys and beta males and all the smelly cat ladies and all the obese feminists and all the woke fools today gathered here. I don't even know what they're complaining about, with the stock market being really good, gas prices down. You would think here in New Jersey, with the highest property taxes in the country, and as well as reckless spending in Trenton, that they'd be complaining about that. But that has nothing to do with the President of the United States. In any event, it'll be interesting to see a lot of these men and women doing cardio today by walking, which is probably the most cardio that they've done all year. So in any event, it'll be very interesting, folks, to, be here. I know I'll probably need a tetanus shot later today, being near so many of these, again, all these woke fools, the cat ladies, the social justice clowns, you name it, folks. I'll probably need a tetanus shot at urgent care later today after being near them. So let's see what this rally is all about, and let's see what they're complaining about today, because if they're not bitching to live, they're living to bitch. Once again, folks, Real Talk is live here on the road in Weehawken, and obviously we'll talk more about this on Monday, but kind of interesting here, a very sort of mixed crowd here along Boulevard East, and I don't know, every sign's here, basically, whether it's, I wonder where all the Free Palestine people went, obviously that's probably out of style now, but be interesting to see what all these demonstrators are complaining about, obviously, as the rally today begins, I think at 1 p.m. Eastern time, all throughout New Jersey. They'll be walking up and down certain congested areas, right? And again, for me, I don't know exactly what they're complaining about. Is it, should they be complaining about the property taxes in Trenton? Or the highest in the country? Probably you should be complaining about that, maybe. Who knows? Or the reckless spending in Trenton, or coddling illegals the way we do here in New Jersey, right? Like, isn't that more important, I think? Or instead of coddling the alphabet mob, right? Or coddling mentally ill people, trans people. Like, wouldn't you think it probably be more pertinent to complain about, more pressing matters here in New Jersey? Again, we have the highest property taxes in the country. Spending's out of control. We spend over $7 billion to coddle illegals here in New Jersey. What exactly are they complaining about? I'm always find these rallies fascinating here. But obviously we'll see them walking by. And as you can see, for a lot of these men and women here, it's probably the most cardio they've done all year. So it'll be interesting to see as they're walking. Obviously, God bless them. They got to get their cardio in somehow. But in any event, let's see a very interesting bunch of people as they're walking up and down Boulevard East. Folks, here they are. They're starting to walk here. Yes. Again, probably the most cardio they've done all year. So trust me, as you can see here, A lot of different signs, a lot of very interesting, marchers here again. And again, folks, you would think, with gas prices down and safer streets in our country, like this is really what's important, right? But no, leave it up to all the woke fools and the social justice clowns here in Weehawken, Hudson County, of course, to march. And there's never a shortage of cat ladies and, all these obese feminists that seem to be loving to walk. It's probably the most cardio they've done all year. So in any event, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm super funny. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, folks. Yeah, I wonder where all the Free Palestine people went. Yeah, I wonder where all the Free Palestine people went. Oh, that's right. The president did that already. So I guess they need something to cry about. So let's watch them as they're walking here. And of course, a whole bunch of interesting people here, obviously. Again, the most cardio they've done all year. So applaud them, of course. There's some interesting signs here, of course, folks, as you can see. Yes, interesting, All right, wow. It's interesting about, like sort of some of the language and verbiage here. Isn't it interesting? It's really interesting. I'm sure Mike Minervini's here somewhere, right? Or he's probably working on his third sandwich of the day. Who knows? So, yeah. Oh, they rhyme, too. Right? Look at that. Interesting, right? They can rhyme also. It's really creative. It's really creative, yeah. This is what democracy looks like. Isn't it funny, folks? No King's Day is July 4th, right? Because that's when we were done with the king. Isn't it interesting, like the irony here? Let's continue. Let's keep seeing these interesting cast of characters here because, they're always good for a laugh. Let's see here. Interesting, right? Let's see a lot of people with creative signs. Gotta be, Staples got to be happy. They probably lived their quota for the month here. All the stationery they sold this weekend, right? Not just in Weehawken, Guttenberg, Jersey City, New Jersey, right? But across the country, all the Office Depots and Staples. They got to be happy today, folks, right? Got to be super happy. All these other stores sell flags. That's great. Hey, listen, if any of that money goes to help veterans, that's a good thing. Not help illegals. But that's it's too much to ask, right? Maybe. Let's see here. Okay. No, nice to see some grandmas get off the couch there and, do some walking. That's good, circulate. It's good for the circulation, right? It's good to get those joints and limbs moving, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow. A grown woman with a rubber ducky inflated costume. Wow. Any money on, do you think she's married or eternally single? Probably, right? Interesting. Oh, it's always interesting here in Weehawken. Mayor, good to see you. That was interesting, right? Save free speech and democracy. Gee, exactly. How is free speech being infringed upon? Can someone explain that to me? Like they're demonstrating and walking in the streets. How exactly is free speech infringed upon, right? Like they're walking around with some of these signs. It's interesting. Wow. Oh, yeah, I like that one. The only paid actor is DJT, yeah. Because George Soros doesn't pay for demonstrators to go to rallies, right? Of course not. Yeah, never. No, never. No. And if you notice, by the way, folks, in the NYC rally today, sponsored by a couple Communist Party organizations. Interesting, right? Yes. And the rest of the idiots here all honking their horns. Yes. Really interesting, right? Wow. Oh, I can smell the cat piss, folks, from a mile away here, folks. I would tell you, you can smell the kitty litter, the cat piss a mile away. Wow, let's keep watching this here. Yes, folks, probably the most cardio any of these people have done all year. But hey, always about exercise, always about being healthy, right? Yeah, I'm all for that, right? I work out several times a week and try to stay in shape. It's important, get that cardio in. Walk a few blocks, right? Yeah, let's see here. Interesting, yeah, right, folks? As these interesting demonstrators here, again, here in Weehawken. Very interesting. Mayor, good to see you.
Rutgers played last night.
They played today. Play Oregon.
Yeah, no, in Oregon.
No, they played tonight. I hear.
6:30.
Hi, everyone. It's Real Talk on the road here, still in Weehawken, and nothing says my side lost, and I don't know how to handle it, so let me just throw a hissy fit like children. That's what we're seeing here today. Bunch of children. Yes. I'm impressed, though. A lot of the obese feminists and smelly cat ladies are doing cardio for the first time all year. That's impressive, I got to say. But, of course, as New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the country and we're spending billions on illegals in New Jersey and everything else, this is what they want to bitch and moan about. Isn't it funny, folks, about all the woke fools and social justice cons? Like, they're always good for a laugh. It's like, and the demographics are very mixed here. We have men, women, right? Because there's only two genders, right? Not sure if you ask this crowd, maybe Mike Minervini's here somewhere. Maybe since he failed high school biology, maybe Mike Minervini can give us an education. Who knows? In between, second and third sandwich of the day. Who knows? But in any event, folks, what's interesting here today is obviously whether it's Weehawken, Guttenberg, Jersey City, you name it, there are towns all over New Jersey that are participating in today's rally. And again, I'm still trying to figure out what are they bitching about. If there was a king, rallies like this wouldn't be possible. So it just, folks, again, the level of irony and disingenuous, narratives are full blown here today. So as you can see there, folks, by the way, you gotta be happy for Staples, Office Depot, all the dollar stores, right, that sell stationery like cardboard and markers and stickers. Like, you gotta be happy for these local small businesses because they're thriving today because of this rally. Not just here in Weehawken, but obviously in Guttenberg and Jersey City. All these stationery stores gotta be happy with all these children here buying stationery. Like, and I'll give it to you, they're very creative today. Yes, folks, as it continues here, all the children here in Weehawken here are trying to make a point. I don't know about what exactly. If there was a king, there would be no free speech. There'd be no rallies. So anyone get the irony here, right? All these cat ladies here and all these, it's probably the most cardio they've done all year, So listen, I'm super happy for them. I think we should all do cardio as much as possible. But again, they're not going to be doing probably any more cardio until probably the next rally. Let's be honest, right? But let's continue here. Let's see some of these signs. Okay, yes, interesting. Yes, folks, nothing says my side lost, and I don't know how to handle it, so let me just throw hissy fits. A year later. Interesting, right? Really, really interesting. Let's keep.
All right, folks, again, I think you get the point here, but it was great to be there in Weehawken watching these children. And folks, you know what's really interesting? The most interesting thing about this nonsense about No King's Day, whether it was all these like disgusting looking people in the township of Weehawken or take your pick around New Jersey. You know what's interesting? 5 years ago or 4 years ago, right, under the presidency of Joe Biden, when there were vaccine mandates, right, mask mandates, censorship, that was no problem then. You didn't complain anything at all, or you didn't make reference to a king, right? You just didn't like the fact that your king lost his crown. That's the difference between all of you idiots out there marching on Boulevard East in Weehawken and yours truly. Because while I'm not vaccinated, guess what? Whether it was towns like Hoboken or wherever, folks, one of the reasons I still don't like Mike DeFusco, former councilman to this day, is because this asshole wanted people in Hoboken to have a vaccine card just to simply go dining. This is the level, you want to talk about tyranny. This is the level of infringement and tyranny that his very side is rallying against this past weekend. Do you see the irony there, folks, or just the blatant hypocrisy? And it is apples to apples, because what we saw were first responders, men and women in the service, men and women, not mentally ill people that are in the service. I'm talking about men and women, right? Like two genders. People losing their jobs because they weren't vaccinated. People getting demonetized because of censorship, right? You saw that for the last 4 years under Joe Biden, and not a peep from any of these people, right? Or elected officials like you saw, like Andy Kim or Cory Booker, all these hysterics, right? You didn't hear a peep from them. But somehow, they're whining and complaining. You do realize, folks, that the highest property taxes in the country have nothing to do with President Trump. Okay? The fact that the state budget in New Jersey has gotten fatter than Laura Bustamante. Okay? That has nothing to do with President Trump. Okay? But somehow, these are the children that don't know how to act like adults, like the children I mentioned before, like Joe Brooks and Anthony Veneri. These are children, folks. These are children. You can't take them seriously. Because as President Trump has, because of domestic drilling, cost of regular gas is down. You can thank the president for that. By stopping that moratorium on domestic drilling, like we saw under Joe Biden's administration. Groceries have gone down. And you would think, especially seeing some of the women and men we saw this past weekend at the No Kings rallies walking, you would think that lower groceries is a good thing. God knows they must be relishing in it. Okay. The fact that we're having safer streets in our communities in cities all across the country, the fact that ICE is doing its job and, again, enforcing federal immigration law, where for 4 years, over 10 million people came across the border illegally. And the Kamala Harris, again, the border czar, was she doing anything about that? No, of course not. Was Joe Biden doing anything about it? Of course not. But not a peep from these clowns walking on Boulevard East in Weehawken or in Guttenberg or in West New York or in Jersey City or in Montclair or Cherry. Take your pick, folks. There was no shortage of children out in the streets there. And folks, you know what's really disappointing? Is seeing some of these parents and how they're indoctrinating their children to the same childish behavior, how they're indoctrinating them into the same nonsense. That's what's most concerning for me. All right. Now, again, as I was standing there on Boulevard East, I was almost certain. I'm like, Mike Minervini's got to be here somewhere because, he's one of these other local idiots, along with everybody else in the Minervini family. I'll put that out there. I don't care. Who, A, clearly never took high school biology and passed it, or B, are just obsessed with social constructs and woke bullshit. Folks, these are adults and not to be taken seriously. They're just not. You want to know why the establishment media in New Jersey is losing viewers, circulation, and subscribers? Is because they keep peddling this nonsense. You want to know why independent media like Fernando Uribe is thriving? Because, folks, here on this show, I tell you the truth. Here on this show, I tell you what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, what you need to hear. To be intellectually honest, because that's what I am on this show. So for these children that marched, okay, great. Guess what? When you woke up Sunday morning, guess who's still your president? That's right. Donald Trump. Who, again, the cost of gas is down, stopping wars. Isn't it funny? All the free Palestine people, all the jihadists that we saw on college campuses across the river in New York at Columbia University or the New School or NYU or even here at Rutgers. Isn't it interesting that the very person who you hate ended up freeing Palestine? Folks, see the irony in that? Or the fact that our cities are safer, that we're getting dangerous illegals off the streets, that grocery prices are down. Again, if anyone should be ecstatic about food prices being down and the cost of groceries being down, were some of the women and men we saw this weekend walking. Folks, if there was ever a definition of being politically myopic, you saw it this past weekend with these nonsensical rallies. Because as we approach the 250th anniversary of our republic, the birth of our republic, when we said no to a king, King George, the King of England, you would think that we learned our lesson, or you would think we're students of history. Clearly, all these men, women, and children marching clearly never took a history course, nor passed it. That's pretty shameful, folks. But again, all I do is call out shameful people on this program. Because all they do is a disservice to you. And I'll never do that on this show. That's the difference, folks. On this show, my flex is educating, having conversations, having a dialogue that challenges you, that helps you engage in critical thinking. You think any critical thinking was involved this past weekend? Or you think any critical thinking is involved when it comes to Joel Brooks and Anthony Veneri? No, folks. No. There's no critical thinking there. And the reality is, you'll never see it either. And those are my final thoughts. Folks, a special comment before we call it a night here. And yes, folks, the generational talent in Garden State media and the Hero Uni right now can be gracious. And to use a pro wrestling term, I can put people over. Okay? I don't play politics on this show. When someone deserves their flowers, I'm going to give it to them. So I'm going to do that right now. I shout out to Marilyn Rivera. She's been a key political operative for many years. And I'll give them their flowers. I'll give some flowers to Insider NJ, to the Graham family, to Ryan and Mike Graham. I'll even give flowers to Max Pizarro and Pete Onelia. No names, no funny acronyms, just straight up flowers. Let me give them to you. Thank you for including yours truly in this year's Puentes de Impacto, Bridges of Impact, a celebration of Latino leaders. Interesting here by Marilyn Rivera, again, obviously who wrote the copy here. Puentes de Impacto, Bridges of Impact is more than a list. It's a spotlight, a tribute, and a collective celebration. This inaugural 2025 celebration honors Latino professionals who are building bridges of leadership, of course, culture, of course, equity, of course, and transformation across the Garden State, certainly. Latinos now account for more than 22% of New Jersey's population, a growing and dynamic community that continues to shape the state's future. These individuals represent the vast and vibrant spirit of New Jersey's Latino communities, those who lead, those who connect, those who work hard, and those who uplift with pride in their culture and heritage. Of course, claro. Why puentes? The word puentes, bridges, symbolizes connection, resilience, and progress. Whether linking communities, creating access, or elevating the next generation, these honorees are the architects of possibility. They are the cultural translators, the movement makers, the legacy builders. Now, the 2025 honorees, this year's list spotlights professionals from across different sectors: government, education, health, media, business, nonprofits, grassroots organizing, and more. Each honoree embodies an unwavering dedication to service, leadership, and the collective progress of our communities. Their impact reaches every corner of the state, benefiting all of New Jersey. Proof that when Latinos rise, New Jersey rises with us. This is the first ever Puentes de Impact, Bridges of Impact list presented in alphabetical order, not by rank, because each honoree plays a vital role, a unique role, in shaping our collective future. In addition to the primary honoree list, this inaugural edition includes a special honorary mention of Latino elected officials, recognizing their ongoing commitment to public service and representation across New Jersey. Now, this is presented in partnership between Insider NJ and Marilyn Rivera, two voices committed to celebrating Latino excellence, storytelling, and leadership across New Jersey. Now, again, folks, you can check out the PDF there on their page, and I'm gracious. You can go to their website, insidernj.com, and read it for yourself. And a very interesting list, folks. But you know what I saw on that list? And, again, great content there by Marilyn Rivera. And again, at the staff at Insider NJ. Well, what do you know? Yes, look at that handsome man there in the lower left-hand corner there. Yes, Fernando Uribe, the host and executive producer of Real Talk. Good stuff there. Now, again, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all the honorees on this list. Now, again, if I'm calling balls and strikes fairly, as I discussed with Carlos Medina, not sure if some people should be on this list. I'm not sure what exactly they contribute here in New Jersey. But, again, shout out to some really deserving people here. Javier Robles, the chair of the New Jersey Disability Action Committee, my fellow Rutgers alumnus and a member of the Pinnacle here in Hudson County. The editor of the Hudson County View, John Robert Hines. Shout out to my man right there. Congrats to you, bro. Certainly Jose Lozano, Executive Vice President and Chief Growth Officer of Hackensack Meridian Health Network. Who else here? Let me see. Jorge Cruz, the Executive Director of the New Jersey Local Initiatives Support Corporation. All right. Let's see who else here. Francisco Cortez. Actually, I met Francisco. Really, really good guy. The president of the New Jersey State Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Great work that Francisco's doing. Let me see. I saw some hotties here. I saw some. Oye, yo vi una niña aquí que estaba heavy duty. Let me tell you. Amy Kesby, the Deputy Chief of Staff there with the Office of Governor Phil Murphy. Who else there? I saw some other heavy duties here. Let me see here. Daniela Lopez Granada, the project manager for Field Strategies. Yeah, heavy duty. Está buena. Let me see here. Great people like Melissa Barat. Good people. I know she watches the show regularly. Some people on this list, I don't know. I'm not sure what they exactly contribute. Uncle David Cruz, not exactly the most hardworking journalist out there. I'm basically a propagandist now in his late years. Speaking of propagandists, obviously Patricia Campos Medina, Yeah, you got to feel for my guest tonight, Carlos Medina, being being related somehow. Sister-in-law, Dios mío, el pobre. Who else here? Let me see here. Shout out to Adam Alonzo, good guy there, Chief Strategy Officer for the Hudson Regional Health Network. Who else? Andres Acebo, folks, the 13th president of New Jersey City University. Shout out to Andres, my man right there, regular on the show. Good stuff there. A little hottie también. Andresa Suarez there, finance director for the Terrence Park Group. Heavy duty. Who else here? Brianna Earl, the associate director of government affairs for Novartis. Está heavy duty. Está buena. Well, far from buena. I mean, Laura Bustamante there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a meal that she's ever missed. But let's continue. Who else here? Shout out to Lázaro Cardenas, the Chief Compliance Officer for the Latino Network Foundation. Not a big fan of Latino Action Network. They're another left-wing propagandist group, but I know Lázaro works really hard, so shout out to him. Who else? Lisette Delgado Polanco, the Executive Director of the New Jersey City University Foundation. Great stuff. Luis de la Hoz, the Chair of the New Jersey Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Who else here? Let me see. Milagros Peralta, the Chief of Staff to the President over at NJCU, to Andres Acebo. Shout out to Millie. Good stuff there. Let me see who else here. Nicole Rodriguez, not a fan of her politics or her views, but, está bonita, heavy duty. The president of the New Jersey Policy Perspective. Está buena, yeah, certainly. Let me see who else here. Some other people. Ron Batista, one of these insufferable progressives. We could do without him. Shout out to Rudy Garcia, the president of MBI, Gluckshaw, and former state assemblyman. Sarah Pena, big fan of the show here. Congrats to you, Sarah. Buena gente. Let's see who else here. Obviously, some other people. So, folks, a great list there. Once again, I can be gracious. The generational talent can be amicable. Okay. I can call Boston Strikes fairly on the show. So thank you to Marilyn Rivera. Thank you to Insider NJ for including me on this year's list. And folks, the reason that independent media like my brand continues to grow is because of all of you. The reason the traffic is organic and strong is because of all of you. So again, I appreciate Marilyn Rivera and Insider NJ recognizing that. So again, I can be gracious. And I want to say thank you to Marilyn Rivera, to Insider NJ, and again, congratulations to the honorees on this year's, let me just make sure I get this correctly, Puentes de Impacto and Bridges of Impact, a celebration of Latino leaders as we close out Hispanic Heritage Month here in 2025. So again, thank you to Marilyn Rivera and Insider NJ for placement this year as one of the honorees on this very important list. Folks, and that's our show for this week. Once again, special thank you to Carlos Medina, the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce president and CEO. If you have any questions about the show, obviously, you can drop a comment there or certainly share the replay at some point on all your social media. Make sure you like us on Facebook if you haven't done so already. Make sure, of course, folks, that you also like us on Instagram and follow us on X as well. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. And, of course, wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify or SoundCloud, download Jersey First on there and take it with you anywhere at any time on your smartphones, because I'm sure you always have them. Whether you're checking your Bumble account or Hinge, banking, whether you are checking your email. Folks, you always have your smartphone with you. Download it. Jersey First. Trust me, you'll never be disappointed. And speaking of never being disappointed, folks, that's what we bring you here every single week, front and center on Jersey First TV. Of course, educating and advocating for the great residents here in the state of New Jersey. That's right, folks. It's Fernando Uribe here and the great staff at Jersey First TV. Folks, check out brand new episodes every Monday night. Check out local listings, of course, for start times here on the Jersey First Television Network. And that's right, folks. If it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always real talk right here on the Jersey First Television Network. Once again, folks, we'll continue to rock pink throughout the month of October since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Once again, I want to thank everyone that attended a Professor's Quest to Save Breasts last week at the world-famous Waterside in North Bergen. We're almost to $4,000, folks, for the American Cancer Society. Again, let's do our part and let's defeat breast cancer once and for all. So we'll rock pink for the rest of October, folks, here on the program. I appreciate your support. Check out our replays and, of course, share the episodes. It gets the episodes out to more people. It really helps the content reach as many people as possible. Again, here on the show, as I'll continue to be the leader in independent media here in the great Garden State. And always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's real talk here on the Jersey First Television Network. I am the generational talent in Garden State media, and certainly the hero you need right now, Fernando Uribe, saying so long, folks. Let's go Cowboys. Let's keep winning some games here in the NFC East. And certainly, folks, again, enjoy the rest of your week. Please party responsibly. And I'll see you next Monday night here on this edition of Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Always remember, folks, stay classy, everyone.